So now we're going to do a horizontal shift given a table. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. It's might be a little blurry. I try not to waste all the paper for you. All right, here comes our table. Okay, we're going to have an input. Now it says g of x is going to equal f of x minus 3. So we know from the guidelines given to us that this is going to be a horizontal shift. If we were graphing, it would shift to the right. I'm not going to graph it. They do in the book, but it doesn't ask us to graph it. It just says create the table. So we're going to take the inputs that we have. We have an input of 2. Well, let's see what happens if we put in 2. So I'll say g of 2 is equal to f of 2 minus 3. Well, that's going to be f of negative 1. I don't have that on the table. I don't have an input of negative 1 right here. So I can't really do anything for that one. Okay? Let me try g of, what's the first one I get? 1. Okay, so maybe if I put in 4, g of 4 would be f of 4 minus 3. I'm going by this formula that they gave me, so it's got to be 4 minus 3. Well, that's not going to be very helpful because that's going to give me f of 1, and again, I don't have 1 as an input. Okay, so my inputs are right here. I need to get either a 2, 4, 6, or 8. Okay, what could I do? 5, right? Okay, so g of 5, that's going to work. G of 5 would be f of 5 minus 3. Now I'm getting that to be f of 2. That I have an input for. F of 2, I get an output of 1. Okay, so here's my input-output relationship. 5, if I put in a 5, I get out a 1. Let me put g of x here. Okay, so now we're going to fill this in. If I put in a 5, that was my input. That was my x that I put in. I get an output of 1. Now, you might say, well, why didn't you start with 5 originally? You knew that all the inputs were going to be decreased by 3. Okay, so now I can start looking at that idea and a pattern here. So if I want to get a 4, I need to put in a 7. Okay, so g of 7 would look like f of 7 minus 3. Okay, but 7 minus 3 is 4. And I know what f of 4 is. It's 3. So what was my input? My input was 7. My output was 3. So what do you think you're going to put in to get f of 6 in parentheses? Remember, you're going to be subtracting 3 from whatever number you put in, and you want a 6. So it's going to be g of 9. That's going to give you f of 9 minus 3, which is f of 6. And we know f of 6, that's 7. So do you see the input here is 9? The output is 7. So 9, 7. Yeah, okay, so we got one more. The input is going to be 11, because when you subtract from 11, 3 from 11, you're going to get the 8. The output's going to be 11. So notice my outputs stayed the same, but my inputs all increased by 3, so that when I do the subtraction, I'll get the output or the function of what I need to take it off the other table. Okay, hopefully that makes some sense. You could graph these if you wanted to.